You know what time it is. Saturdays are for the big dogs. Welcome in to the BDGE Dynasty channel. Every Saturday, we do a live stream with the Big Dog members. If you want to become a Big Dog member, you get access to our Discord, private access to myself and Nick in there. Also, everybody that's in these live streams, they get access to this private live stream. You also get access to our Dynasty rankings over at bdge.co. So go check that out over there for $9.99 a month if you want to participate and actually ask questions. Be involved in the Saturdays are for the big dogs. Speaking of which, Saturdays being for the big dogs, how's everybody doing today? And what kind of questions do we have in Dynasty? Unfortunately, as you see behind me, the Brownie the Elf didn't want to turn on. Not loving the news in Dynasty at the moment of Quinshon Judkins, some off-the-field issues with some domestic violence, punched his girlfriend. And listen, it's not great, not good news. But one of the things I just wanted to talk about is potentially what it looks like and what people are doing with him in Dynasty, kind of what the cost might be for Quinshon Judkins, and if it makes sense to try to pivot off of him, or if there maybe are some times to try to buy him, depending on what the cost is. We got James in here. What's good, James? How we doing on this fine Saturday, my friend? Do you have any Quinshon Judkins in Dynasty, and what is your take on what you're doing with Quinshon, or if you have shares, if you are not, are you looking to buy, or are you just staying away? So I'm going to go ahead and while he's getting in here, everybody's getting in here, just go ahead and pull up and see what Quinshon might be going for. Let's go ahead and take a look over at the lab. That's what the lab's for. So if you go over to the trades portion, if you go to it's the-lab.southharmonff.com. You go here, you'll once you type in your sleeper username, you can go take a look at leagues, players, league mates. If you hit the trade tab, right, league mate will basically show you trades that have happened in leagues that any of the people that you play against are in. So if we do Quinshon here, there's 11 trades at the moment. We'll take a look at some of these, but want to kind of use the lab for some of this, and I got that prep for you here. Curious what you say though. I'm throwing him on my taxi. I just saw him go for a second-round pick. Yeah, so what's crazy is here the last two trades that are in leagues that I'm in one. The other one I'm not actually in, but are for 2 seconds. And I got an offer for Quinshon for 2 seconds in one of my leagues, and I actually turned it down. I kind of get the pivot, but to me, I would still rather have Quinshon than 2 seconds. And this is, if you're telling me he's going for a single second, James, that's kind of crazy. Now, here's another move down here, right? If you're telling me that you can get out for a future first, I actually don't hate that pivot. So it probably all is going to come down to what the cost is. We don't really know what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold, but the precedence that's typically set for stuff like this is looking at something like a 6-game suspension, probably towards the high end. So listen, this is the long-term game in Dynasty, and while it's not great news, if it's for a single second-round pick, I will be buying shares at that price. But I currently haven't had anything anywhere near buying for a second, so all depends on your leagues. I have no Judkins, but wondering if this is the time to buy a bit lower. I think so, yeah, definitely. If it's to be had. I think the thing is, for me, kind of letting – in moments like this, it's kind of hard to explain, but whoever has Quinshon Judkins in your league, if it's not you, like that's the person ultimately that kind of is going to determine if it makes sense to buy or not on Quinshon Judkins. So if there's panic and they really want to move off of them, it may make sense to buy in that scenario. But like I'm not just forcing Quinshon trades during a bad like news cycle just because I want to get more exposure. I mean, yeah, if you can get if it's a single second, I don't think it's. I would pretty much send that every single time. 2 seconds is kind of what I'm seeing in a lot more of my leagues. That depends on how bullish you are and how much you have a need at the running back position. The thing about sending 2 seconds is though now, are you better off trying to use those seconds to buy? Maybe not long-term upside as much as Quinshon, but people that give you multiple shots at performing just as well as Quinshon, not to mention probably not going to miss up to 6 games. So anyway, wanted to start that off. You guys let me know down in the comments, what do you think about the Quinshon situation and what are you doing with him in Dynasty? Have you seen any trades go down in your leagues? I mean, you don't love to see news like that, but a lot of times it ends up making buying and selling opportunities. So we play the game as the cards unfold. So James, talk to me, man. And we got what are you looking to buy for? Actually, you tell me, Mr. Coleman. You tell me. Are we? What would you buy low for? What would you consider a buy low? So this is a guy that was going, and if you haven't had your rookie draft, it'd be interesting to see where he goes now in rookie drafts relative to where he was going, let's say, back in the earlier part of the draft time. He typically, though, like a mid, maybe a mid to late at the very latest, like a 108 type in, Superflex league. So what would a buy low look like for you? And do you have, actually, since I have you, do you have any teams that you want to discuss it with? We can throw you up on the screen, pull you up on the lab, and go see if we can cook something up. What about you, James? You got any leagues you're thinking about buying or selling, Quinshon? Or it doesn't have to be that, by the way. Not trying to hijack the whole conversation. This is about your teams and your questions, whatever you got for me. But honestly, I've seen so many trades going down in the Discord that I felt like it was at least – I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I can project what's going to happen in the future, but it is at least such a newsworthy cycle thing, and there's people actually making enough trades at the moment that worth discussing. You're her. What up, Maddie? Maddie Higgins. Well, if you were unsure what to think, I bet you Maddie might come in and tell you what to think. What's your take on the Quinshon situation? Are you buying? Are you selling? Do you have shares? Talk to the people, Maddie. Yep, that's exactly right. So, yes. So if you just give me your sleeper username, I'll pull it up here for you. We'll head back over to the lab. So when you if you go to the lab, this is what it looks like at first, and then you just type in your username. And once I have that, it basically can pull up all your leagues, all the trades that have gone down. You can start cooking some stuff up in your different leagues. So yeah, what is your sleeper username? Okay, it is Jai Coleman. All right. Let's peep what we got, my friend. Okay. Well, no trades in, let's see what we got here, leagues. All right. So 5 leagues. Quinshon is yet to be traded of late, and that's okay. Maybe we can make that happen for the first time. Again, that's why I talk about it, though. It's like there's going to be managers that aren't panicked at all and aren't really moving for, not to mention any type of a discount, like anything different than they were prior. So it really all kind of depends on your league mates and what you're a very creative person. I love to hear that. As someone that tries to create, I like to think I'm a creative person, but often the comments tell me I'm not. All right, Maddie. Maddie says he's a buy. You say you're creative. Well, then I'll tell you what. Let's get crazy, huh? You want to get crazy? By the way, speaking of crazy, I don't know if y'all see this. I'm looking in the flex spots, but this team right here is a flex. Speaking of which, there's Rashi Rice news as well. But I think everybody saw something coming, and the headlines can be a little bit alarming. But Jaden Daniels, Bijan, Achan, Brian Thomas Jr., Puka, Tucker Kraft, Rashi Rice, Smitty. I mean, it's one quarterback, but casually, Jalen Hurts off the bench. I mean, good night. This team is loaded. All right, so let's see what else we got here. And you tell me which one. Is there a league that you think that you either want to focus on or that you think he might be able to be had at a discount? To Maddie's point. Okay, we got Jaden Daniels everywhere. Bo Nix. All right. Got some good teams here, man. Okay, down 26 first, but this team's pretty damn good too. You got Fields, Tua, we got Penix and Bo Nix all in Superflex. We got Justin Jefferson, Marv, Rashi Rice. Yeah, you got some nice teams, my friend. I'm looking for RB help in the BDGE Dynasty League for sure. Damn it, why didn't you say so? Love this. All right. So let's take a look here. Well, quarterback looks pretty damn good. We got Josh Allen and Kyler at the QB spots. We have Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson. So, yeah, we definitely could use some running back help. We got Marv, A.J. Brown, Addison. We got Golden, Downs, and then we got Andrews at the tight end spot. We got Matty Higgins, QB1, and Shadur Sanders. We've got Tank Bigsby. We've got Garendo. It's a nice team. Yeah, you definitely could use some running back help here. Got your pick. Okay. So, I wonder, be interesting to see how the lab basically, so for those that know, it pulls from keep trade cuts value, right? So I was wanting to see if Quinshon has become completely slandered. So 42.51. And here is the person. But Trey Benson being in their running back 2 spot doesn't. Okay, they got James Conner. It doesn't feel like a team that's flush with running backs, unfortunately, but that's okay. Let's see what else he might need. So he's got Justin Jefferson, Allen Ratet. Definitely a wide receiver truther. That super flex option is looking pretty suspect though. Sam Darnold and Dimes. How are we looking here? Got core 4 in this league too. You'd love to see it. All right, so forgive me while I scroll back to your team. I'm wondering if I don't think I really want to do that. You tell me. Just you give me some ideas. First of all, what are you thinking about this team? Like how what is your approach with this team? Are you contending? Do you want to, slow play it for a year? To me, it looks like a team that's, especially with Josh Allen and Kyler in there, should be competing, but not a lock. And you could definitely decide to, retool or rebuild for a year. So I'm curious kind of what your thoughts are with this team and what your idea is. I see you got a couple seconds here. So you don't have a ton of picks stored up, so not necessarily completely rebuilding out of the gates. I mean, call me crazy, but Happen. So you have Happen second. Where is that? Where is Happen? Oh, at the top? Yeah, I think that's what I might do then. Personally, I think I'd be willing to send, maybe start with a second and a third, and then see if you can get those 2 seconds that we're seeing going. I think I'd be willing to pay that with a team like this, personally. But that's just talking if it's just draft picks. If we're not just talking draft picks, like maybe Brian Robinson in a second. Well, I don't know if that would actually work for the person, but that'd be something I'd be willing to cook up too. The thing is, off the bench, it's not like they're the bench options are not super desirable. So I was thinking about trying to pair something off the bench with a second, but there you go. Maybe a second and Elijah Arroyo. I would be all about maybe sending something like that. Okay, I'm with you. All right, cool. I just like to try to confirm these things because if I'm coming in trying to give this type of advice or direction to a discussion in a trade, and you're thinking about the team totally different, sometimes it ends up being not beneficial. So yeah, I would try. I think that would be a nice one to try too. Let's see. I think it was this team, right? Whoops, sorry about that. Spazzing all over the screen. Get your damn self in check. All right. I think I would. He's got Laporta, so I don't know how much he would value that, but Yeah, like an Elijah Arroyo in a second, a couple of seconds there. He does have plenty of tight ends, so it doesn't necessarily make sense for him, but some people like to stack all those tight ends on the bench. Those would be a couple options I think I would try just to get the feelers out there and see kind of where Steven's at. Because the other thing you got to remember is typically if there's any interest, you'll either get a counterback or some kind of DM discussion. And the way I think about the situation when you're trying to buy low, you're kind of trying to feel out the other person and their panic or lack thereof on this player. So that's what I would be trying to do, something like that. You let me know, though. Is there something else you were considering or thinking? I know you got the creative juices, so let me know. Maddie, talk to me, man. And James, what about you guys? Any leagues you want to take a look at, or is there some ideas or things you want to discuss today? It's your world. I'm just living in it, man. How's everybody doing today? My Brownie the Elf didn't want to light up today. I don't know why. It's like I got punched. Right in the stomach. So it's so Cleveland to have bad off-season news cycles about who you just drafted. Yeah, I think it's for the majority. It's that time of year. But it doesn't have to stay that way forever. Okay, I'm trying to build a 3-team trade right now. I love this. James, like, I've had absolutely no action in my leagues. Matt's like, I'm trying to get a 3-teamer going for an absolute shit show of a team I picked up recently. Okay, you were saying in the Discord. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that as far as like that. Those are kind of where I would say the 2 seconds, the Brian Robinson in a second, the Elijah Roy in a second. Those are kind of the top offers or what I would actually end up making the trade for. That's why I say maybe send out a feeler of a second and a third or something to kind of build your way up there and see if you could get something less. Because sometimes people will send somebody away for less than what I would actually be willing to send them in a trade and like counters back and forth. Yeah, I mean, so there's definitely going to be one. However, we've seen it in years past. Like, it's not necessarily a guarantee. It's far from a guarantee, I should say, that it's going to happen this year. It may be one of those things where they have to go through in the court system to where it maybe doesn't take place till next year. So, I mean, there's going to be one coming. But, yeah, to your point, there may not be one this season. Maddie, talk to us about the Orphan, the shit show you picked up recently. And what you're trying to do in this monstrosity of a 3-team trade. Jai, by the way, if you have anything else, let me know. We'll go right back to your team. Or another one of your teams if you want. Let's see. Oh, I'll be honest with you. I love this trade right here. Jaden Blue in a second for Quinshon. I absolutely love that trade. Don't love that one as much. Quinshon and Thornton first, 27 first, but all right, so here you go. This would be this pivot right here. Derrick Henry in a first. I would move off of my Quinshon for Henry in a first, easy. Like, not even close, honestly. Wow. Olave, Quinshon in a second for BTJ. Man, these are some crazy big boy deals right here. CeeDee Lamb for T. Higgins and Quinshon. Good night. Look at this fucking monstrosity. Speaking of monstrosities. Okay. Let's get off of this chaos, this rabbit hole we're going down, and let's go to Maddie's leagues. All right. Which one is it here? Bartholomew. Deep Dynasty. Oh, your team is deeply buried at the bottom. Number 12. You absolutely hate to see it or love to see it. All right. And what you really love to see is not having that first. This is kind of what okay. All right, Matthew. So far, it's Team 1 sends me Genty. Team 1 with me sends Genty, Ridley, a 27-second, receives his own 26 first back in a mid to late 26 first. Okay, Team B receives Genty and Godwin, sends Saquon and T. Team C receives. All right, so the way I think about it, at least for if I'm just initially for you when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about it in the standpoint of, okay, just what am I getting and receiving? And kind of if I was to go through and break it down, looking at it from each individual manager standpoint is how I grade or look at it and evaluate 3-team trades. Here's the thing. Right now, I think you would love to get your first back on this team, right? But tell me right now, a 26, now you have that and it's the 101, right? Because you're going to control it that way. To me, there's a sunk cost fallacy here that you got to be careful of, where it's like, yeah, I want to have my pick back because it lets me control my own future. Like you took over this Orphan without the ability to control your own future anyway, in a way, right? Like, I mean, sure, you have the ability to change and maneuver with your team, but this team, that was an early pick that you were just down regardless. Genty's a locked-in 101 that when he has some games this year, you're going to be able to move him to almost anybody, probably every single person in your league, and dictate your price. Now, maybe you can't get your 101 back, but if I'm in a rebuild let me just take a look at this team for the record too before I overdo it, because I had a feeling, but yeah, look at this team. Here's the thing about it. When I say look at this team, let me at least speak to what I'm seeing, not just see it. All these players outside of Genty that are in your starting roster and your entire team is absolutely cooked. So you already need to basically multiply assets in such a significant way anyway. Like, getting just the 101 back isn't really something that I'm overly locked in on anyway because of how much cleanup I have to do with this team. Sure. But if I get the 101 back, now I'm probably looking to get multiple pieces back that are really good or have the potential for value accrual, right? So I don't necessarily have to make that move to 101 just to try to get, let's say, 2 first and a second or 3 first out of that, when I have it from Genty and I can just get that anywhere I want to. So I don't the Ridley and a 27-second for a mid to late first is definitely a win for you. But personally, I don't know. I don't think it's enough to move off of, because here's the other thing you got to remember with a team like this. This team is going to be a slow-moving process. Look at the pieces here. Tyrone Tracy, Jaden Reed, Calvin Ridley, and Njoku, A-Rich. There's not a lot of players outside of Genty that are very, extremely desirable that you're going to be able to move during the season really easily anyway. So I'm not looking to get off of the one piece in this on this team that I can kind of control my return to do it right now before we're playing in the middle of July. If I'm you, I'll tell you the truth. If I'm you, I'm walking away from this deal, because one of two things are going to happen. You walk away and it doesn't feel as good, but you end up just keeping Genty and selling him at a better time when we're actually playing games. Or what you'll get the sense of is he continues to come and try to find a way to get Genty from you, because here I think it's just as much him trying to get Genty on a team where he's contending as you are also trying to move off of Genty, where I think you'll end up selling light, to be perfectly honest with you. Godwin, my first, and the 27 first. Hold on. I thought it was... Wait. This isn't the final trade, but that was what was proposed earlier. Okay. Jay Becca has my first. All right, let's take a look here. Interesting. Let's see how his team looks. Kyler. Yeah, look at this team. It's pretty young, but yeah, if you threw Genty on this team, it certainly would be a contender. Not necessarily the strongest of contender. Like the receivers feels like a lot of dynasty value that isn't guaranteed to give you high-end wide receiver 1 points. Yeah, I mean, this team is actually not what I was envisioning it to be. It's got 3 firsts, 26. Who is this EJ 2 times? He's got all of his picks. Team B is... Okay. And Team B is which one? Karthik. I mean, I'll go through this with you. I'm just telling you, if it was me in this scenario, especially as like one of the things when a team comes in and takes an orphan this bad, there's like this new blood feel, right? Like there's blood in the water, and sometimes I think it's important to establish like I'm not taking any of these deals that are, especially for the one piece I have that is not making me feel like a good offer or a good trade. This team is loaded. Goodness. So Team B was sending... Let me go back to this here. Team B receives Genty and Godwin and sends Saquon and T. Yeah, that would be... I think that would be pretty easy for this team. Although, are we starting 11 here? Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, start 11. Dude, start 11? Yeah, I'm looking to probably move Genty for, even if I have to punt and get futures out in 27, 28, I'm looking to probably get close to, 3 firsts roughly in value, even if I have to put them out in future years. So right now, this person's sending Saquon and T. What is Team C sending? Oh, I see. This was in 2 trades. I was like, what's the Godwin? Okay, so Team C is sending Godwin, your 27 first, or your 26 first, and their 27 first. Okay. So, like, to me, I would rather... He probably won't do it, but Tet's still too high. But one of these guys in a first, even if I had to punt it down into future years, like I'd rather do that. I would rather tier down, not necessarily to another running back, but to getting a first and another young player that has dynasty value to go and capture it upside wise. I don't. Let me see. Let me think. So right now, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that. Well, I mean, they're really good receivers. They're high value receivers. Don't get me wrong. I'll be honest with you. This isn't good for content or for like discussion. I'll give you some ideas, but I think genuinely I'm walking away from this. Like, I'm walking away from this. I think only bad things could probably happen, unless. Like, I would kind of establish the prices. Yeah, I'd be willing to do it for Tet in a first. He could pick whichever one he wants to send you, but something like that. And then if not, I think I'm probably walking away. For the sake of the conversation, as much as I don't want to entertain it, like, I would say also the fact that you have to send that second to me doesn't really make sense, especially if, let me look at your team. That's another part of the deal I don't love. Why if this is a total cluster cleanup. Okay, so this is going to be him getting his own second back. All right. Even still, though, this team has so much need for upgrades everywhere. Like, I'm not looking to give back a top 24 pick. I think that's actually what I would say. There you go. Genty and Ridley. If he wants to do it, Genty and Ridley for, like, I'm dropping that second at minimum. I would do it for, you get your, like, 101 back, and I'm getting that mid to late first for Ridley. Because the 101 versus Genty, to me, is still definitely Genty by quite a bit. So I guess making up for that would be now, if it's just Ridley, for the mid first in 27. I'd be cool with that. That'd probably be like, if you wanted to kind of keep the structure of this deal as is in place, that's what I'd be willing to do top. Now, I don't know who, so it looks like Team C gets the 27 second. That's the problem with these 3-team deals, is who's getting the second and would it throw it off for them. So they would now be sending Saquon, T. Higgins, Ridley, and they'd get back. Yeah, they probably need that second in there. Maybe a third if that would help at all. But honestly, I feel like that might be part of another reason why. Like, you need multiple assets in a start 11 league. Like, I'm not giving up what I don't want to be doing is adding. Okay, even there, let's do that. Instead of having it be a second, let me get off of a player I need to move off of as opposed to liquidity that I really want to keep. How about that? Let me try to speak to the difference of why I'm looking at it the way I am. Like, going through your team is probably not going to be easy to find one of these, but yeah, a Tank Bigsby even. Like, somebody, Quinton Johnson, somebody that maybe you think is worth a second or roughly in that value that you can add in. I want to keep my picks, whether it's mine or other people's. I think that's probably it. Yeah. I mean, I get it, and I know that feeling, but I guess what I'm saying is right now, that feeling of, all right, I got my pick back, and you feel complete. You feel like you can go about your rebuild, and you're not, like, ceding away that 101. But if the cost of it is, right, that's one of the discussions with when you take over an Orphan where you just have a failed contender. You have this early pick. Like, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to change it from you being a complete shit show in this league, right? But if the cost is Genty versus that 101, someone else is going to have to just have my 101. It's kind of like, you don't want to make, you already have a bad situation. You don't want to put more good effort and good dynasty value into making another bad trade just to get your pick back. So I think that would be my advice or discussion here, as opposed to bringing more liquidity that I'm going to need and gives me a lot of flexibility in a rebuild. Getting off of a player that you think is, worth roughly a second that you're comfortable with, as opposed to that second round pick or, dropping the second round pick. That would be kind of where I'm at. So, because look at you have all these players that you're going to want to try to get value out of, as opposed to moving. Like, you only have, you're down your pick, right? Like, next year, you don't even have, even if you add in this one, Shaw 62, you don't even have a complete set of draft picks yet. And then in 27, you have one extra second, which you'd be giving away. Or, well, I shouldn't say giving away, but you'd be losing it in this trade. So, like, I'm trying to move a lot of my players already for draft picks. I don't want to have to get rid of a draft pick, there's finite number. That's kind of the other thing to think about. There's no extra picks coming. Yeah, this one's going to take a lot of time. So the other thing to think about, this is a different conversation, but with a team like this, you've got to be, I'll say, diligent about when buyers are, with the players that you have on this team. Like, if Njoku, let's say, has 2 or 3 big weeks, like, once buyers are kind of showing interest, for a lot of players that aren't a Genty type, like, the cornerstone type pieces like Genty, I'm a lot more choosy with what I'm going to get back, what type of assets, and what that cost is going to be. with an Njoku or Quinton Johnson, any of these other players, basically when they have big weeks, or their value kind of is increasing and they're becoming somebody that a lot of people in your league are hitting you up with offers, I'm looking to make sure I strike then and actually trade away those players in those moments, because you're going to have so many of these guys that don't have a market for the majority of the season. So just being diligent about when you do get somebody that's interested, finding a way to strike while the iron's hot, so to speak. Like Dobbins needs to go. I guess Javonte, you kind of hope that Javonte ends up being the day one starter and looks better than people think he's going to. Try to move him then. Rodgers is probably going to be one of those guys you have to try to move during bye weeks and quarterback injuries. You should be able to, but again, that's not an easy one either. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one, though, Maddie. James, Ajay, anybody else got anything y'all want to discuss or yap about? Maddie, any other teams or any other trades here? Okay, so here we go. My whole goal was to get the 101 and then do a bunch of trade downs in the next rookie draft to accrue value to actually jumpstart the rebuild. Okay, but I get that. Here's, I guess, the question. Don't you think you can probably? I guess that here would be what I'm doing. Let me kind of give you the idea. So I think we're on the same page, but I just believe that you can get a better return and still get this exact same principle done without having to have it be the 101. But let's see. I'm trying to see who has multiple picks. It's probably the one dude here, Jay Becca, huh? Which is okay as well. He's got 3 picks. Is he the only one with multiple picks? That's actually kind of cool. Okay, this guy here, the mate. It's up here. Like, I don't know if this team thinks he's competing or not. Let's see what his team looks like. Yeah, here you go. Like I would rather get. Honestly, I'd probably rather get like these two and something else. I think there's I get the idea from trading out of the 101 and tearing down, but I think you can do the same principle with Genty. There's so many different ways to kind of skin the cat, so to speak. And I think as we're getting ready to go into the season and we're scoring points, you can basically what's going to happen with that 101 is now you got to wait until for this, right? You're basically your primary piece of value. You're going to be kind of putting into, like a time vault, basically, right? You're going to put it into a vault, and it's you're not going to do anything with it until the draft happens. I think Genty, you can kind of continue to make tear downs throughout the course of the year so that you've built up more value by the time the 26th draft comes around. So I think that's why. It's just the way the current where we're at right now in July and where things and values are going. Genty and all the players are going to be what everyone's going nuts for the next, for the rest of the calendar year. And once we get to the season, right? So for 4 or 5 months, and not that the 101 won't be great next year, but there is no guarantee to have a Genty in next year's class. I mean, there's some good players, but I think Genty right now with his situation, that type of draft capital is I guess what I'm saying is I just want to make sure that I'm getting out, like in that other trade. I want to, if I'm going to get rid of Genty and get my 101 back, I want to be making sure I'm getting a dub like Ridley for a mid first. Like it's got to be something to that degree to make me want to get off of Genty right now. Genty's going to be everyone in your league is going to be wanting to send multiple different types of offers for. CC has picks too. Well, let's see what that is. CC. Did we look at his team? We did not. Okay, so he has that one. So he has a Carr's team's ridiculous. Let's see how his team is though. CC. He needs some running backs. I don't know. Does he? Oh, he's got Evans. Dude, if this guy thinks he's in a contending window, I would love to get his pick. See, that's kind of what I'm saying. You could get a pick up if you can get his first. Let's call it 103, 104, and more. That's the route I'd rather go than just have your 101, so to speak. Right, but Matt, here's the thing. At this point now, wait until he's actually. Right now, there's a value threshold for Genty, but he may not have the greatest rookie season, but there's gonna be weeks where he goes crazy. He has some ridiculous runs, whatever. That I think is going to be the time to strike with the Genty personally. So, and that's the thing about it. I got told Brees and JSN is an overpay. Well, I mean, no one has had any injuries, any variants happen to their teams. Who has that, by the way? Brees and JSN. I mean, to be fair, it probably is, but it's a fair ask also. Is this guy, so have you had some rapport with Shaw? I don't see anything on his team that I love. See, here's another thing. Instead of taking Brees, why not go a route like maybe, I mean, here's the thing. Strap in, buddy. This is going to be a struggle. I'll tell you this. So you clean up a rebuild like this, you clean up an orphan like this, you'll be a seasoned vet. These are the tough ones, but fun ones. I would try to go. This team looks to be a team that wants to contend pretty like significantly, right? You got Kamara, you got Adams, Judy. What about? Do they have picks? Watch, they don't have picks. Yeah, like what about JSN in the 27 first instead of Brees? Okay, got it. Fair enough. Just asking. Just trying to help. I'm trying to help. Yeah, I would rather maybe try that. 27. What about a 27 first in JSN? Maybe he'll tell you to kick rocks too. But again, we're not necessarily scoring points. And I guess here's the thing. The reason I say that because what I'm doing right now is kind of buying time. Because I'm buying time to have other people have that fiend moment, right, for Genty. Because here's, I guess at the end of the day, this is the way I think about this. Where is that trade at? Now, to be completely honest, a 3-team trade, you come back to the drawing board, likely doesn't exist. But I think that 101 for your Genty kind of as the primary parts of the deal, that's gonna exist in the season. Like, unless he becomes completely dog shit, his team, he's gonna want to send that for Genty, especially when other people are probably more interested in Genty. So I'm looking to, like, for example, let's say right now Travis Hunter and Tet are locks for him. Like, let's say one of them starting slow and he's trying to contend. Now all of a sudden that has shifted the dynamic in the conversation with this player, with this manager that has your pick, right? So there might be something that's a lot more doable then in a buy low window for someone that's not scoring points that are rookie, like a Travis Hunter or a Tet, and you give him Genty and you get your first back, and you'll obviously have to add something else to the deal, but like that would put you in a totally different position now to kind of trade away and re-roll, when that rookie, whoever that would be, Travis Hunter or Tet, maybe has some better weeks down the road. So it's just you are, I guess part of the reason I say that too, when you look at this, you say it's a struggle. Dude, if you move off of Genty, just think about it this way. If you move off of Genty, now all you have is the struggle assets to try to move. So I'm kind of in, if this makes sense, I'm not with a team this bad. I'm not really in a rush to move off of Genty to get my pick back, because Genty's about to be scoring points, and Genty is someone that's, even if right now you don't have a lot of buyers, there's not that many people that make a ton of trades in July. Going back to James' point earlier, right? We all want to, D-Gens want to have trades that get done in July. So I know this isn't the most fun conversation, but sometimes it's better to walk away and wait until the season starts. But again, if you want to make that trade, I would at least need to take the second out, or take that second out, or I would want to put in a player that I'm looking to move off of your team that's maybe more second worthy or roughly in value, that I'm not getting off of a second, one of the few picks you've got. It's going to be a fun one. Maddie, I have a feeling we're going to be going back to that. If you are like Maddie Higgins, you're like James, you're like any of us, Dynasty D-Gens looking to make trades out here in July, make sure you go check out, become a Big Dog member, bdge.co. Again, Dynasty ranks. So you got the full Dynasty ranks in there. You got my rookie ranks in there. You can get access to the Discord, the Big Dog chat, always in there. You can basically at me. Maddie's going to answer first, but I'll get to you second. Talk with you about whatever kind of trades you have. Anything you want to discuss. Discord's always active and popping. And aside from that, we've got the draft guide coming out. A lot of big, exciting things coming up for the season. So this time I'm out of here. But next Saturday, I'll be back here. Same time as always, 3 p.m. Eastern for the Big Dogs. Saturdays are for the Big Dogs. I love you. I'm out of here. Maddie, everybody, peace.